Welcome to our deep dive into all the excitement for Eid al-Etihad. With the UAE's 53rd National Day coming up soon, they've really got an amazing week planned.
It's quite impressive, actually, yeah.
We've got a really interesting mix of sources for this deep dive. We've got some articles highlighting, all the events and festivities across all 7 Emirates.
Oh, yeah.
We've also got safety guidelines from the Ministry of Interior and some fascinating interviews with Emirati citizens reflecting on how celebrations have changed and evolved over the years.
Nice.
I think, the mission for today's deep dive is really to equip our listener with everything they need to know to fully enjoy the Eid al-Etihad celebrations, whether they're planning to participate or simply want to understand the significance of this occasion.
Yeah, let's jump right in.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's do it.
So one article that I was reading really stood out to me. It was just bursting with details about the celebrations planned across all 7 Emirates.
Mm-hmm.
And what really struck me was the sheer variety of events planned.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're talking about everything from fireworks displays to parades,
Wow.
traditional music performances.
Oh, cool.
Even a special artistic evening planned at the Korfakan Amphitheater.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. The other thing that's fascinating is how they've managed to distribute these celebrations so strategically across all 7 Emirates.
It does make you wonder how they decided what goes where.
Exactly. It seems very deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
Ensuring that citizens across the UAE, regardless of where they live, have access to these celebrations.
That makes sense.
And that really speaks to their commitment to, national unity and inclusion.
For sure. And that reminds me of something that one of the Emirati interviewees mentioned about the historical gatherings on Al Difa Street, which we now know as 2nd December Street.
Oh, yeah.
Back then the celebrations were much simpler, but the spirit of community and shared celebration was just as strong. Yeah. So it's like that core value has been woven into the fabric of Eid al-Etihad from the very beginning.
It seems like it. Yeah. And speaking of celebrations, we have to talk about Dubai.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like they're going all out, wouldn't you say?
Dubai always puts on a good show.
Always.
But this year's no exception.
Yeah.
We've got multiple fireworks displays planned at locations like Al Seef Dubai Festival, City Mall Hatta. Even JBR Beach will be lit up. And, of course, they're hosting a dedicated Eid al-Etihad parade and a musical concert at City Walk.
Very nice. I also noticed something interesting in the plans for Dubai.
Oh, what's that?
They've got this Emirati Eats initiative happening at restaurants across the city.
Ah, yes.
Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I have, actually. It's a fantastic way to celebrate Emirati culture through food. Visitors and residents can get a taste of traditional cuisine, but it also helps to promote local businesses and, culinary talent.
Right.
I think it's really cool.
That's a great point. It's a way of celebrating both the modern and the traditional.
Yeah, exactly. It's a modern take on a long-standing tradition. In the past, families would gather to share home-cooked meals during National Day celebrations.
Right.
So Emirati Eats takes that communal aspect and brings it to a wider audience.
I love that. And it connects back to something that one of the interviewees said about how these celebrations are a way to introduce Emirati culture to others.
It really is. It's a celebration of their heritage.
Yeah.
But it's also an invitation for everyone, regardless of background, to experience, appreciate, the richness of Emirati culture.
Right.
And that inclusive approach. It's a hallmark of the UAE.
It is. Now, of course, with all this excitement, all these events planned, it's important to celebrate responsibly.
Oh, absolutely.
So the Ministry of Interior has released some guidelines for public safety.
Good.
And I thought it would be helpful to touch on those.
Yeah, for sure. Instead of just listing the guidelines, I think it would be helpful to, understand the reasoning behind them.
Totally. For example, there's a strong emphasis on maintaining traffic flow, preventing reckless behavior.
Right.
And one thing that really stood out to me was the focus on displaying only UAE flags and playing officially sanctioned Eid al-Etihad songs.
Interesting.
Could you elaborate on the significance of that?
Well, inclusivity is a key aspect of the celebrations, right? But there's also a clear emphasis on national unity and shared identity.
Yeah.
And the guidelines regarding flags and music seem to underscore that.
It does make you wonder how that emphasis might be perceived by expats who are part of the UAE's diverse community.
Hmm.
It's clear that they're trying to strike a balance, that they're
Hmm.
saying, come celebrate with us, share in our joy, but let's also acknowledge the values and symbols that bind us as a nation.
You said it perfectly.
So we've talked about the vibrant modern celebrations planned for Eid al-Adha, and we've touched on the safety guidelines, but I'm curious to delve a bit deeper into the historical aspect. Like,
Right.
what were these celebrations like in the past?
That's a great question.
Right.
And it's something that the Similar in Spirit article explores beautifully.
Oh, very nice.
This article shares some truly heartwarming anecdotes from senior Emiratis about their experiences with National Day celebrations back in the 1970s and 80s.
I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, should we dive into those?
Let's do it.
It's amazing, to read these personal accounts. They offer such a rich glimpse into the past.
Yeah.
Like one interviewee, Hussein Abdallah, who's 64 now,
Okay.
he finally remembers taking his children to the walking procession in Sharjah
Wow.
back in the 1980s.
I can just picture it. Families coming together, a sea of national attire children, waving flags with images of Sheikh Zayed and Sheikh Sultan.
Incredible, right?
There's something so powerful about those shared experiences, especially when they're passed down through generations.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about, the impact of these celebrations on shaping a sense of national identity from a young age.
Right. Like those memories become woven into the fabric of who they are.
Exactly. And it's interesting to see how those traditions have evolved.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about the Emirati Eats initiative in Dubai, which has its roots in, those family gatherings and shared meals.
It's amazing how they've managed to modernize that tradition, but keep the core values.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that really stood out to me from those earlier celebrations was the emphasis on community involvement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Hussein talked about how everyone would gather on El Difa Street.
Right, which is now 2nd December Street.
Exactly, for traditional performances and competitions.
Wow.
It was a true community celebration where everyone participated and shared their talents.
It sounds like a much simpler time, yet those core values of patriotism and cultural expression were just as present then as they are now.
Exactly. And even though the scale of the celebrations has grown significantly, that essence remains unchanged.
That's really cool. Another interviewee, Fatima Hussein, who's now 24,
Okay.
she shared some really wonderful memories of her school celebrations.
Oh, wow.
School celebrations always hold such a special place in our hearts.
I know, right? They
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
Fatima talked about performing dances, going on trips to showcase their talents,
Wow.
and even forming the largest human flag.
Now that's impressive.
Can you imagine?
It's incredible. What a powerful display of unity and national pride.
It really is.
Yeah.
It highlights how Eid al-Adha has always provided a platform for creative expression, even from a young age.
Right.
It encourages a sense of collective achievement and belonging.
I love that.
Yeah.
Did she mention any specific memories that stood out to her?
She did. She shared a really touching story, actually, about performing in front of Sheikh Sultan al-Qasimi back in 2008.
Wow.
And, for her, it was a defining moment,
Yeah.
illustrating the connection between the nation's leaders and its youth.
Moments like that can be so inspiring.
They can. They really can. They create a sense of responsibility towards the future
Mm,
and a desire to contribute to the nation's progress.
for sure. And I think that's what makes these personal narratives so valuable. They bridge the gap between the past and the present, showing us how Eid al-Etihad has evolved while staying true to its core values.
It's a beautiful tapestry of tradition and progress.
It really is. Listening to these stories, I can't help but wonder what stands out as the most powerful expression of national identity to those who participate in these celebrations.
That is an interesting question, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, for some, it might be the grandeur of the events,
Right.
the fireworks lighting up the night sky,
Right.
or the vibrant parades
Yeah.
showcasing the nation's diverse culture.
For others, it could be the heartfelt renditions of patriotic songs.
Oh, yeah.
Or the stories shared by senior Emiratis, connecting the past to the present, or even just that personal moment of connection.
Yeah.
That feeling of belonging that comes from being part of something larger than themselves.
Exactly. It's a deeply personal experience unique to each individual.
Yeah, but I think by engaging with these celebrations, reflecting on the stories and values they represent, we gain a deeper understanding of what it means to be part of the UAE's remarkable journey.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And as we head into the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I think it's worth considering how these celebrations, with their blend of tradition and modernity, will continue to shape the UAE's identity in the years to come. So we've really journeyed through this vibrant tapestry of Eid al-Etihad celebrations, haven't we?
We have.
From those dazzling fireworks and the parades to those really heartwarming stories from Emirati citizens, reflecting on how this occasion has evolved over time.
Yeah, and as we wrap up our deep dive,
Okay.
I think it's worth circling back to something we touched upon earlier.
Okay.
The Ministry of Interior's emphasis on, displaying only UAE flags
Right.
and playing only officially sanctioned Eid al-Etihad songs.
Right. It sparked a really interesting conversation
It is.
about balancing inclusivity with that focus on national identity.
We're-
Yeah, it really highlighted, I think, a nuanced aspect of these celebrations,
Mhm.
showcasing how the UAE is so committed to welcoming people from all over the world,
Right.
but at the same time emphasizing those shared values and symbols
Yeah.
that unite everyone as citizens.
Exactly.
It's like they're weaving together these different threads.
Yeah.
The richness of diverse cultures and that common ground that binds everyone under the UAE flag.
To create, a cohesive and meaningful celebration.
I think that's a really good way to put it. It's not about excluding anyone.
Right.
It's about highlighting what unites us as a nation during this special time.
Exactly. And that brings us back to, that thought-provoking question we posed earlier.
Yeah.
As you experience Eid al-Etihad, what stands out to you as the most powerful expression of this national identity?
I think there are so many possibilities.
There are.
Perhaps it's witnessing the pride of Emirati families, dressed in their traditional attire,
Yeah.
sharing their heritage with their children. That sense of continuity
Yeah,
and connection to the past is really inspiring.
it is for sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the collective energy of,
Yeah.
thousands of people from all walks of life
Yeah.
coming together to celebrate as one.
Right. That sense of unity and shared purpose is palpable.
It is. It really is.
Or maybe it's the realization that, beyond the fireworks and the elaborate celebrations,
Yeah.
the true heart of Eid al-Etihad
Yeah.
lies in those enduring values
Mm-hmm.
of unity and generosity and respect that really define the spirit of the UAE.
You hit the nail on the head.
Ultimately, the most powerful expression of national identity
Yeah.
is a deeply personal experience.
It is. It's unique to each individual.
It's about finding those moments of resonance, those
Yeah.
connections that spark a sense of belonging
Mhm.
and pride in being part of this incredible nation.
Exactly. And by immersing yourself in these celebrations, reflecting on the stories and the values that they represent, you gain a deeper understanding of what it means to be part of the UAE's remarkable journey.
So as you participate in the Eid al-Etihad festivities,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're captivated by a fireworks display
Yeah.
or enjoying a delicious Emirati meal
Mm-hmm.
or simply taking in that joyous atmosphere,
Yeah.
remember to pause and reflect on what this occasion means to you.
I think that's really important.
Allow yourself to be swept up in that spirit of unity and pride.
Mhm.
And consider how this shared experience shapes your own understanding of national identity
Right.
in the dynamic landscape of the UAE.
Yeah. And with that, I think that brings our deep dive into Eid al-Etihad to a close.
It does.
We hope you feel well-informed,
Yes.
inspired,
Absolutely.
and ready to fully embrace the spirit of this extraordinary occasion. Happy National Day.
Happy National Day.